Welcome to the surprise episode of Two Average Husbands. I'm your host, Jake.
And I'm your host, Kyle. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back. We're super excited. As you can see, we have our guest, Dane, back on the podcast, the third best friend in the trio.
How you guys doing?
Happy to say that it is Dane's birthday, and so we are going to celebrate for Dane's birthday. Jake, do you want to tell everybody what we're doing?
Yes, of course. Mine and Dane's friendship goes back quite a number of years, but one thing that has pretty much been there since it started happening has been alcohol. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a callback to a previous episode, as we kind of alluded to. Remember that beer list that Kyle and I ranked? Well, we're going to do it live. We are going to try, not all of them because we would die, but we have at least 10 of the most popular light/heavy beers from the American beer category. Some of them are going to vary through each of us. Like regionally, I couldn't find some that I know Kyle and Dane could, just because everything by me was sold
Found them all
out.
because my will is strong.
I already went to like 5 liquor stores. I wasn't going to another one. I'm sorry.
I didn't find them all because I read the list wrong. So
Dane's gonna pour a couple beers into a separate cup and then rank them that way. But why don't we just get rip-roaring right into it? We've got 10 beers. So the 10 beers that everybody is supposed to have are Miller Lite, Miller High Life, Bud Light, Budweiser, Coors Light, Coors Banquet, Busch Light, PBR, and Michelob Ultra.
what's
So
the first
Dane,
one?
I was about to say, Dane, since it is your birthday here,
It is your birthday.
why don't you pick whichever one we start off with?
Well, I gotta go big, so I gotta go
Oh,
with
the High Life?
32. Yep. Oh shit! I don't know how the camera works. My
Well,
132 ounce.
It'll
Holy
teach
shit!
you to know. Find a 40.
So I thought my I figured y'all were going to be able to find the 12-ounce cans. Nope. My 24-ounce can is the small one.
Dude, half
for
of
the
mine are
High Life
24-ounce
category.
Cans, yeah.
It was either I buy a 24 pack or I buy one 32 ounce.
The decision I made was to mostly buy a lot of 6-packs since I have the softball tournament tomorrow anyway. I can just bring all of that for the team to drink. I don't have to drink all of them. But let's start it off with the High Life.
So because I'm a classy fella, have a glass. That way I can just pour some in and taste test. That way, of course, I'm not going to drink, 10 beers. Because who would ever do that?
I got solo cups.
Am I supposed to have a glass?
No, I literally wasn't going to do this until Kyle did that, and I just happened to have a bag of solo cups under my desk.
I can't even
say,
open it because I'm weak
I can go.
sauce.
I can go get a mug, but
There we go.
All right. So the way that we're going to do this is we are going to not rank them like we traditionally do. We are not going to give them number ratings, but we are going to rank them in order that we prefer them. So
geez.
we're going to drink the first one, and that's automatically going to
Congrats
be
to Miller High Life. You're number one and only for this amount of time.
potentially longer. You don't know.
I doubt it's gonna go much longer than that.
The benefit of doing this is all our preconceived notions are out the door. We may think right now that High Life is going to be our least favorite, and then I drink that, and the next beer I drink, I think this one tastes better.
There's a part of me that just hopes that all of our favorite beer is just High Life.
It just ends up being High Life. We're all like, oh, we're champagne guys now.
All right, boys. Cheers.
All right.
Happy birthday, Dane.
Cheers to
To
Dane.
the first beer.
Cheers! Thank you very much.
That ain't going to make it. That ain't going to be the number one.
Tastes like softball to me, boys. We drink this every week at softball.
It tastes
Shout
like
out-
the first beer I ever had.
I was going to say, it's up there for me, too. But shout out to Brian, who can put back about 40 of these and not even blink an eye. But I'm going to drink it out of the can, see if it tastes any different.
Probably tastes
I gotta-
worse. I feel like everything's better out of glass. I guess you drink it out of plastic.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start
To be
ranking.
kind of
these.
honest
High
with you,
Life.
That
it
isn't
really
a...
smells bad to me.
Really?
The smell of High Life is kind of gross in the
I used to not like it as much, and then more recently, I think it's just kind of grown on me. I'm going to put High Life. Obviously, it's the number one now. But so Dana kind of alluded to it. Kyle, you kind of alluded to it as well. But what's your history with Miller High Life? Have you drank this a lot? Drank it never?
I used to drink a lot of High Life back in like early college days, maybe late high school. I don't know, but we haven't gotten to my beer of my youth yet. But the first case of beer that my oldest brother was willing to buy for me and my middle brother is on this list as well. So I'll get to that story when we get there. But High Life is definitely something I've experienced before, but I'm not I'm not in love with High Life. Although
High Life-
champagne and beer. So
High Life for me was also one of the first beers that I ever tried before I knew I liked beer. So I drank it and hated it, and I think that's why I didn't have a problem drinking it. Like, it's still a light beer to me. It still tastes like a light beer, so it's no different than a lot of them, in my opinion. But for me, it was just like the first experience with it was so bad that like I just never really enjoyed it until I took like 3 or 4 years off of drinking it, and then enjoyed it. That one. We just wore it 2 days ago. I'm not washing the shirt to wear it again.
I have a washer that washes clothes.
I do too.
I don't have to like hand wash. So
I also have a washer that washes clothes. But... And then Dane, you said that this was one of your first beers as well.
Yeah, that was back when I was drinking it out of a McDonald's cup at buddies' houses, so the parents wouldn't know. Which, now that I'm older, they knew.
The best part
They
is,
always knew.
The best part is I know exactly what you're talking about because we were talking about the same experience.
dude, this smell is really starting to fucking.
Wait, were
gross
you
me
there
out.
at Al's house?
Yes.
That was when we drank.
We did it at
High Life out
Al's
of a duffel
house.
bag.
We did it at Al's house, and then we did it again at Stollard's house.
I remember
We
Stollard's.
we
I
went to
remember both of
Stollard's
those.
house, and we wrapped. We took the clothes that we brought to spend the night at his house, individually wrapped every beer because my idiot friend got us bottles, and we put them all in my backpack, wrapped in shirts so they wouldn't rattle against each other. But
I
yes, I
remember
was
that.
at Al's house. Maybe it wasn't that same night, but we definitely did that at Al's house.
As we're getting this started, by the way, I have to throw a quick shout out because I have had, over the last maybe 2-ish weeks, more like comments on our podcast from all of my coworkers than definitely ever before. I had one guy approach me and be like, "Hey man, how do I listen to your podcast?" And another close friend of mine, he's like driving across the country right now, and he downloaded every single one of our episodes and was on a 4-hour Two Average Husbands binge and was
Let's
texting
go.
me about every episode. So shout out to all those guys. Thanks for listening and thanks for supporting as well.
Shout out to all my coworkers as well. They were all very excited. Hopefully they'll tune in through parts of the night as well. But let's move on from that beer. I know we're all Kyle is ready to
finished.
drink a
Sorry.
different one. Yeah, you're
already?
pouring a little heavy here.
It was a 40. I don't know. I
That's
just
fair.
managed.
That's fair.
Well, I guess my shout outs are hi mom and hi Bailey. That's about it though.
Hey,
Shout
you
out
know
to my
what?
wife too.
Yeah, shout out Jess. She's not home. She's at a minor league baseball game right now, so I'm a little jealous of her. But all right, Kyle, I'll let you pick beer number 2.
Ooh, I get the honor. Okay. Well, since I brought it up, then I will bring out the first. Hold on. Beer that my oldest brother ever bought for me, which took a long time. Because my
Dane, you
brother
are
hated
never
me for
gonna
like
fuck.
15
Hold on,
years.
I hate to interrupt you, Kyle. Dane, you are never gonna guess
don't hate
what message I just got on Facebook and who I got it from.
I'm not even gonna try to guess.
Alex just messaged me and said Buffalo.
Ooh, got him.
To you? I
Yeah.
hope so, because it's on my left. So
I wasn't paying attention to that, so thanks, Alex. Appreciate you tuning in.
That's a solid shout out from the pod.
I
But the
took
next
Wow,
beer
that-
on our list after Jake has to finish an entire High Life, which we will hold him to, is the classic Pabst
you
Blue
chose
Ribbon.
you chose another fucking tall boy.
My oldest brother bought me a 30-pack, and my other brother a 30-pack of this when we were too young to go and buy our own beer. And I will forever cherish the PBR. PBR's has a special place in my heart. So shout out to PBR and shout out to my brother. And here we go.
PBR,
Hell
I think,
yeah.
has a special place in all of our hearts because PBR is what I grew up drinking. I know PBR is Dane's dad's favorite beer of all time. They have more PBR merch than probably I've ever seen in one single place ever.
Yeah,
In fact,
that's
hold
very
on.
true.
Oh,
I
that's
have
a
a-
delicious smell right there. Smells so much better than High Life.
I won this at a raffle one time, but I have these PBR coasters.
Hell yeah.
So like they're
So much
each
better than High
a
Life.
different.
Those are pretty cool. Are those like plastic? What are they?
Yeah, they're just like what's the proper term?
Oh, this is
Ceramic?
Not ceramic. It's
So much better.
It's not
So much better than High
plastics.
Life.
Plastic's not the right term, but it's epoxy. They're epoxied.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Pibber. All right, here we go.
The Peeber, as we affectionately call it.
I've never heard it called peeper.
Ugh, good old Pibber. Always kind of tastes like weed.
No, it smells kind of like weed.
No, it tastes like
Tastes
weed too.
Not weed.
It tastes a little weedy. I'm not gonna lie.
I think this is delicious.
I love PBR.
Oh yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
I truly do. So,
I
fucking.
hated it.
Shout out to Uncle Kyle in the comments. He said probably the right terminology
Yeah.
for what you're trying to say. But PBR got some weird hype when the hipsters got a hold of it.
Yes.
And everyone was like, "Oh, I love me some Peebers," but PBR is actually delicious.
Yeah, it's a great
not
beer.
just-
It's
not just
always
a beer.
super cheap anywhere you go, which is even better. You can get a 30 rack of it out by us for like $13.
I gotta blast this out on the.
It's a
socials
Country
before I
Thunder
forget.
beer, that's for sure.
I gotta remind Dane now that Dane is like joined the aficionados of podcasts that he doesn't need to be that close.
Yeah,
to
you
the
don't have
mic
to
for
lean into your
everybody.
Yeah, I don't know why I naturally just do that, but
It's
you
a
know,
little,
we're just
it's a
gonna-
little loud when
we're
you
just
do
gonna
that.
Throw it
but
over there and
There.
just have it out of the way.
There.
I'm
But
not
yeah,
used to having a good mic.
Dane used to like get mad at me when I would bring PBR over because
Yeah,
he
it
knew
was
that I was
disgusting.
because he also
Oh, I
knew
love it.
he knew that I was bringing it over so that way nobody would drink my beer. I would be like I'd get a whole case to myself.
That's what I did with Miller
Yeah,
Lite. We've talked
my
about that.
one rule when bringing beer to my house for parties was make sure I drink it.
Hey, you drank plenty of PBR with me. You didn't enjoy it, but you did it.
Yeah, but now that I'm older and my dad comes to visit twice a year, now all of a sudden PBR, it's up there. It's definitely up there now. I don't hate it as much as I did when we were playing beer games back in the day.
Yeah, it's not a great chugging beer. I will give you that. So playing like baseball with it is not always the move. For those listening who
gone?
what? Yeah, it's fucking yeah.
Let's see it.
Sorry, I'm posting on the Instagrams so people can come join us.
But yes, I will admit that this is not the game that we play that we call baseball. Most people call it beer ball. So if you're familiar with it, 2 cans in the corner of the table. You throw a ping pong ball at it, have to get the ball back to the table. But yes, this is not a great beer to play that with because these are heavy beers. PBRs are definitely heavier compared to Bud Light, Miller Light, Coors Light, etc. But moving on, we will move into my beer of choice. And since it's right next to me, I'm going to go with the Miller Lite. A classic for me. Was my one-time favorite. I'm going to use tonight to determine what my current favorite light beer is. But Miller Lite is definitely a solid option.
Oh, Miller Lite's the next one? Sorry, I missed it.
Yes, sir.
I was laughing about what I'm about to post on Instagram. So
Jesus Christ.
Cheers to Ryan. This is his beer.
It is.
Always has been, never strayed from the path. First case of beer he ever bought me, my older brother.
I think that's why Miller Lite was my favorite beer for a long time, was because your brother was the one who would buy me beer.
They were the only ones who, that's all they drank was Miller Lite.
So
Actually,
I think
no,
we
the
all, by the
first-
way-
Go ahead. No, the first beer I ever had at your house, Dane, was actually Budweiser, and I'm pretty sure Kyle, it was like Kyle had brought it over.
Budweiser was my first.
Bud, like
Also,
Bud Heavy,
Unrelated to the story, but Bud Heavy was also my first.
because I think he came up to me, like Ryan told me to get a beer, and then Kyle like came up to me to like be like, "Why are you taking my beer?" And then realized that he knew me and that like I wasn't just some random who showed up at the house. It was very funny first encounter, but
Also,
shout out
if
Kyle.
the two of you get the chance here in the next couple seconds, you should go look at the Two Average Husbands Instagram story. So you
I
can
will-
appreciate what I just posted.
I will take a look at it. It's probably fucking really
Cracking
embarrassing.
open the Miller Lite.
It's probably embarrassing for me, but oh no,
Also,
but it's
this
just
is
a
where
great
I get
picture.
to the 24-ounce cans, by the way.
Dana and I both had bottles. We both
Happy birthday. Thanks, man. I look very happy.
Carly came over after I posted that and said, "Why does he look so angry?"
hold on. Oh
I look
no,
so
Kyle,
angry
you
in that
posted that
photo.
on your story. I thought you posted that on the Two Average Husbands
Yeah,
story.
Oh, I
That's
thought
on-
I did too. I
No,
get
that's on
confused.
your
Don't-
story, and
don't
then
even
this
bother.
one is on Average Husbands.
Yeah.
Is that less embarrassing or more embarrassing? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't care.
We'll just go with yes.
I mean, Jake's now wifey called me an asshole back in the good old days, so
That did
I guess I
happen.
got-
Yes.
I guess I gotta rock the title.
So I think we can all universally agree that PBR is better than High Life, but where does Miller Lite fit for you guys right now?
As I'm drinking it right now, I think I prefer High Life.
Do you?
Uh-uh.
I don't.
Yeah.
I do not.
I think it goes PBR Miller Lite then High Life for me right now.
That's where I'm sitting right now.
Let me take another sip of the High Life just to confirm. May have to get a different one.
You should. I was gonna say you should not be taking a sip of that same one, but
I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to go get another one out of the fridge because they're in my fridge in my kitchen, not
The
here.
fact that Buffalo's in play, by the way, now is really scary to me for the rest of the night.
It's not in play. Alex is just being Alex. He said that he saw multiple of us, but we're just gonna pretend that I was the only one drinking with my dominant hand.
I'm not chugging a 32 ounce as first. I gotta stop leaning towards the goddamn mic.
I mean, you can lean towards the mic. You just don't have to go that far forward.
But I want to.
You don't need it that far away either. Right there, like that's probably like a good spot for your mic. Now talk.
You know, I'm not used to having a mic like that. I'm used
Maybe
to,
a little closer.
Dane,
to
while we're
that.
in between beers, what did you get for your birthday?
Well, my birthday's tomorrow, so I haven't gotten
Somebody has to have
anything
sent you an early gift. What have you gotten for your birthday?
I think he's telling you to check your mail if you haven't already.
yet. I have not
No,
checked
I'm
my
not.
mail.
Sorry.
Oh, never mind. Just
That's
kidding. Just
disappointing.
kidding. Never mind.
As of
disappointing.
now, I have not checked the mail in the last 2 days. So if I do have an early
I
birthday
only send
present,
pizza to Dane when he lives in a trailer, so
That's true.
that was ridiculous. I've never.
That was a
chased
great
down
night.
I have never chased down a
was a
pizza
good night.
lady.
All right,
steak and
Dane.
blowjob?
It is back to you. What is beer
Not yet.
number 4 for us? But yes, I get why you guys would put High Life in front of Miller Lite, but I think right now for me, I'll put High Life
They're
in
not-
front of Miller Lite.
I'm really curious
You
what
just
this
said
is
the
gonna
same
look like
thing twice,
compared to
Jake.
our-
So good for you.
What?
But
I put High Life in front of Miller Lite. You put
And
Miller
you-
Lite in front of High Life.
yeah, you didn't say it like
Oh
that.
well,
I'm really curious how
I've
this
been
is going to
drinking.
compare to the way that we ranked these when we did it just
I'm gonna
randomly.
I'm gonna
without the
pull
taste
up.
test.
I'm gonna pull it up after.
Don't be biased. Don't do it until after.
Yeah, no,
I want
yeah,
you
I'm
to,
gonna
like,
do it
yeah,
after.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
wait
yeah.
until we're done, and then I'll pull it up on Twitter.
All right, cool. What's the next one, Dane?
6, 7, 8, 9.
Pick one that I have.
Jesus.
We will go with probably the one I'm not gonna like. Honestly.
I'm filling up very quick here. That chug
I'm
was
going
not
to as
great
well.
for me.
The
Coors
banquet.
Banquet.
The banquet. Is this twist off? Oh, it is.
Yeah. Do we all have the little?
No, 24 ounce.
Damn it. My choices for this were buy a 6-pack of these bottles or buy an 18-pack of the cans. There was no
So
in
this
between.
This was my last stop of 5, and I got there, and I was like, if they don't have it, I just give up. And I walk in, and of course, they have 24-ounce cans of fucking Coors Banquet. And I didn't even really care if I got this. But I will say, and Jake didn't get to go there, and I'm still super sad about it, but one of my favorite places in Tucson is the Tough Luck Club, because they have a special where you get a shot of, and literally the bottle is just a yellow bottle that says corn whiskey. It's
Yeah.
not even a fucking brand.
Yeah, mellow. Well, is it mellow corn?
I don't fucking know. You get
It's
a shot of
is it
corn
very
whiskey.
bright yellow?
You could probably pull up a picture and you'd probably be right. But yeah,
Yeah,
either way,
it's probably
just
mellow
corn
corn.
whiskey. So you get a shot of corn whiskey and a Coors Banquet for like I think it's $3.50.
I'm in.
I
We're
could
going
be
next
wrong. It
time.
might be a little more expensive now. After COVID, it'll probably be more expensive. Either way, great deal. Love the place. I love me some Coors Banquets, but only because they're cheap.
I
Cheers.
do
Right.
not.
Cheers.
Do not like. The only time I ever drink Coors is when I ask for a Coors and I forget to say light. It's the only time I ever drink one.
Oh dang
They
it!
are
All right,
Not
Gary.
good to me.
I'll have to get closer to my mic. En route is my ability to have it right here because Jake sent because I'm about to have my birthday and I'm gonna have a boom mic for my birthday.
I can, Kyle. You don't have to move it closer to you. I can adjust your mic volume through the stream. So there you go. I bumped you up, and I'll bump Dane up as well.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, I could just get closer if you want.
Please don't. That's worse for all of us.
Mine does have a tendency to be more quiet just because Jake's is always like proximity
Right next to my face.
significantly closer to his face. Yeah. So
Yeah, no, this this is bottom of the 4 for me. This is
not for
That's-
me. I actually like
For
Coors
me,
Banquet.
yeah, it's fourth.
yeah.
All right,
I like
and that,
Banquet. I would definitely not put this at a 4th. I might have to take another sip of High Life just to see which one's worse for me.
I don't think I've ever drank Coors Banquet before. Maybe like
Let me bust out
I
my
don't
40.
say I won't say I've never drank it before, but maybe 3 times in my life I've had Coors
Banquet is so much better than High Life. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nope.
I do not like Banquet.
Banquet, definitely above the High Life. I'm going to have to rewrite this because I'm doing it penciled and not on the computer. I'm going to have to rewrite it like 5 times.
Oh yeah, mine's on the computer.
Yeah.
I have when I do the podcast, I like to take handwritten notes because I like stash all of them. I literally have a stack of like notes this thick from the podcast so far.
Oh damn.
So to
Jake,
kill.
wait
Yeah,
one
go ahead.
second. I meant to bring this up during PBR. Have you tried my dad's PBR whiskey?
Yes, well, you made me. So we were. It wasn't the celebration of life, but it was the get together after.
The funeral day,
Yeah, after the funeral, and you were like, nobody can take a shot of this without making a face, and I just don't make faces when I take shots ever anymore. I've drank enough hard liquor straight that it just doesn't faze me, and so you made me take a shot in front of everybody. I didn't make a face, and so you made me do it again.
Yeah.
Because you were like, there's no way you didn't make a face. And everybody was like, no, he didn't. You're like, I didn't see it. So I did it again.
Because
Didn't make a face.
I understand Malort, but that shit is disgusting. Because what is it, aged like 30 seconds?
Yeah, so for those who aren't familiar, the only
It's a
stipulation...
clear whiskey.
The only stipulation by American law to call a distilled liquor whiskey, obviously the grain matters, but it has to be aged on wood. But technically, to call it a whiskey, there's no time limit like there is for bourbon to call it a whiskey. So PBR literally puts it in wood for I think it's longer than 30 seconds. I think it's like 2 minutes. But it's basically just a clear spirit. It's basically moonshine, and it tastes like fucking paint thinner. It tastes awful. It's so bad. But I drink
Tastes better than corn whiskey.
No. I would much rather drink corn whiskey.
What's up, pup? Which one is that?
But anyways, I have, you can't really tell that they're there, but I have Glencairns, which are whiskey tasting glasses. I drink whiskey straight very frequently. I drink tequila straight frequently. I drink scotch straight frequently. So drinking liquor isn't a thing, isn't hard for me. But for a lot of people, if they drink the PBR whiskey, it's very harsh and it's not good.
No,
So
that is not good. This is Luna.
Hi, Luna. Luna is Dane's dog for everybody that eventually does not watch this on YouTube but hears it on Spotify.
Yeah, this is one of my 5 dogs.
Or Apple Podcasts, sorry. We have multiple vectors.
we do. Thank you. But yeah, so what I was going to ask is, while we have a few minutes to kill here, because we're kind of flying through this pretty decently quick.
Flying through, we're on, 4 of 10?
Yeah.
We're only 22 minutes in, though.
We're halfway through, and it's 22 minutes.
4 of 10 is not
We're basically halfway through. Fuck off, Dane. Anyways, so what are, besides beer, because we all drink a lot of beer, what are your kind of 3 go-to drinks if you're not drinking beer? We'll start with you, Dane.
Oh, okay.
My number 1 is a Jaeger bomb.
God,
It's not a sipper,
are you
but
21 years old.
Hey, I still
I
fuck with
fucking
Jaeger
love
bombs.
Jaeger bombs. It was either gonna be that or Red Bull vodka, because you always need a drink to get the energy going again. And
Have you ever seen my new haircut on YouTube?
I have not.
No.
Go watch it. It's a viral video, and then you'll understand. Based on Dane's response, you'll understand why I said that.
Like right now, or
No, not right now. Just when you have the time.
Okay. Are you
So
asking for all 3 or
yeah,
just one right now?
give me all 3.
That, a Jack and Coke. A third one that's not beer. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't really have anything else past that. A margarita, actually. We go to Mexican, a few times a month, so a margarita is probably my number 3, but I don't drink much else than beer.
Makes sense. How about you, Kyle?
My number 1, if I'm gonna go have something other than a beer, is probably vodka tonic. Big vodka tonic guy. Other than that, I like to have whiskey ginger ales, which is no secret based on the way that we had our previous podcast. So I would do whiskey straight if it was a good enough whiskey, and I have, but I think generally speaking, I drink pretty shit whiskey, and so I drink whiskey ginger ales usually.
Makes sense.
And almost always Irish whiskey, big Irish whiskey fan. Again, no secret from the podcast. And then I think I would agree with Dane. I'm a big lover of tequila. Tequila is not a big lover of me.
We don't get along, but I like it.
Tequila makes me just a grouch, and I'm already kind of a grouchy person, so it doesn't get any better when I have tequila. But I do love me a good margarita, so I'll agree with Dane on the third there.
For me, it's probably
$5. Jake says something of whiskey straight.
I wasn't going to, but I'm kind of if I'm in on that bet, I'll take your $5. So for me, my number one, my go-to, like if I go out and I order a drink, it's typically a Tito's and soda with lime. It's just kind of a go-to for me. I prefer soda water to tonic. I don't like the taste of tonic, so not a huge fan there. I really like Captain and Diet Coke. It's a great combo.
Yeah. I'm not a big soda drinker, so ginger ale is kind of as deep as I get into the soda game.
Makes sense. And then if I'm thinking of a third, I would say seltzers, but I'm going to kind of lump that into the beer category. So if I'm going something besides that, I typically do a whiskey Coke is typically the go-to after that. Then I typically don't do like bottom shelf whiskeys. I'll typically go up a little bit. So I'll go for like a maker.
So fancy.
My dad would be very upset with you. You don't do fancy whiskey.
I'm not saying fancy. I'm doing like Maker's Mark or Woodford. Like it's like that middle tier of whiskey. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
You can see my whiskeys like behind me right here. I'm not taking like the top shelf whiskeys and mixing them with Cokes. I'm taking fucking that Maker's Mark bottle that I'm pointing to right now is probably the most expensive whiskey bottle I have. Actually, no, that's a lie. The High West whiskey bourbon is probably the most expensive. But
I'm gonna agree with our boy Gary in the chat. I think Crown Royal is a solid whiskey. Tito's is a fantastic mixer of vodka, and then Patron is solid. I am a silver tequila fan,
yes,
as opposed to gold.
Yes.
So
I'm in the same
Unless you're in Mexico.
same boat as you.
In Mexico, I still drink silvers.
My exception to that rule is Reposado. I'll drink Reposado.
Yeah, Reposado's fine. I just like tequila, so you can pretty much give me any tequila, but I just prefer silvers.
I can tell when it's gold and I don't like it. We'll
Guess
put it
what,
that
boys?
way. Beer number 5.
Beer number 5. And as you can probably predict exactly
Nick Ultra.
where I'm going to go with this. Oh, you're wrong.
Oh, fuck.
You are wrong. So this one
Ultra.
is for the Iowa boys.
Okay.
Bush. All right, Bush Light. Shout out to the Iowa boys and girls.
Dane couldn't find Bush Light, everybody.
I went to 4 stores and couldn't find Bush Light of all.
It-
Bush or Bush Light.
It went to my last liquor store that I went to find Bush Light and not a 30 rack.
I had to buy a case.
So instead, I will be drinking.
The good news is I'm doing
Natty
an
Light.
in-person fantasy draft. No, Dane, don't do that. Just have another
Don't.
cup of another one because I have Natty. So,
Oh, all right.
I don't, so.
well, fuck you, Jake.
Oh. Sorry, I had a very long
The
time.
Bush
to prepare for this,
Latte
and I
is
did
so
not.
underrated. Outside of Iowa, there is not an appreciation for the Bush Latte.
We only drank Bush because
It was cheap.
It was like $13 a 30 rack, and it was a Country Thunder or Beer Olympics kind of beer.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is I remember in like late high school, early college, everybody referred to Bush Light as the piss water of Bud Light, which is, I mean, honestly, affectionately kind of true because it's from the same company. But that being said, I like Bush Light a lot more than Bud Light. And
Nah.
I'll confirm it tonight. For sure. We'll find out. But
The only
Light's
thing
the
that we've drank so far that Bush beats out for me is Coors Banquet.
Bush beats High Life.
Bush beats
Oh,
Iowa.
you like High Life. Bush beats High Life.
For me, it doesn't. Like, High Life is my 2 so far. Like, I didn't expect this going into it. I thought Miller Lite would beat High Life, but
That's
as I
because you
drink-
had to chug the whole thing. It's got to
Maybe-
taste good after you drank 24 ounces of beer.
I think Bush is, and like I said, it's a severely underrated beer, and it's delicious.
I do think it's. I think if mine were ice cold, mine have been out of the.
Why isn't it?
Because
That sounds like a failure on your part.
I don't have ice, and I would have to like lean over and go into my fridge every single time to grab a beer, and that's just not feasible.
I would have to lean over and go into my fridge. That sounds difficult.
Dane, you're correct about something. I don't know what you said. What did you say? I missed it.
That
Yeah.
Bush is better than High Life? Probably.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
know.
Yeah.
If that's a statement,
I would-
100% Dane's correct.
I would assume, yeah, Bush is way better than High Life. Why
Like I
High
said-
Life is your number 2 out of 5 beers? That's kind of piss poor, bud.
Like I
High
said,
Life was
it
not
might be
good.
growing on me. I don't know.
The champagne of beers is not the best beer.
It's not champagne. Let's put it that way. But Ooh, where do I want to follow this up with?
Yeah, next beer's to Jake.
In a kind of a shout out to Alex hitting us with the Buffalo earlier. Dane, you might remember where this is going, but we are going to go to the good old Bud Heavy.
This
So
is another one that, believe it or not,
What?
24 ounce can.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I found a 6-pack of it, and that was saving grace for me, because otherwise I would have been in multiple tall boys of this, just because I do enjoy myself a Bud Heavy. But the way the Buffalo story kind of comes into it is Buffalo is a drinking game that we play. We can't tell you the rules, because once we tell you the rules, you're in the game for life, and we don't want to subject all of our listeners to that. But we were at Country Thunder, which is a music festival all around the United States. There's a couple different venues, but we were specifically in the one in Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. And our friend Alex was there, and he
was not our. We had no idea.
Yeah,
who
we didn't
Alex-
know who he was.
We didn't
Let's
know
clarify.
him at that point.
But
he was my mom's friend.
Yeah, he was a family friend of Dane's, and so we taught him the rule of the drinking game, and then he proceeded to destroy all of us in the matter of like an hour and a half, and we all
And
drank.
One side note: Alex is a big grizzly man who showed up to a music festival concert by himself for one night with 7 cases of beer.
Yeah.
So
And we
he,
went through
he
about
didn't know
three-
what he was getting himself into, but he knew he was getting himself into something.
We went through
And he-
probably about 4 cases that night. It was
The draft boys don't know this yet, but I have a bunch of people coming to my house for a football draft on Labor Day weekend. And they are going to be drinking the excess of this night, so it's going to be a lot of shitty beers that
hey,
they're drinking.
good for them. Good for them.
right,
but
Bud
yeah,
Heavy.
so we ended up having to chug probably, like I said, 3 or 4 cases worth of Budweisers in the span of 4 or 5
It might be
hours.
because I just took a bite of pizza before I took this drink, but I'm impressed. I actually think Bud Heavy's pretty good.
Bud Heavy's delicious. It's my favorite heavy beer pre this episode.
You keep saying heavy beer, but I think honestly, like we affectionately call American light beers their heavy version heavy.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're truly not heavy.
It's not a
just kinda
heavy.
like
No, it's not. It's very clearly
I
not a
guess that's
heavy
what
beer.
you're
A heavy beer is
Yeah.
the stouts that we drink every week
Yeah.
that are fucking anywhere from 8 to 17% alcohol.
These are still really just light beers, but less light than their counterparts.
They're a pilsner. I think
Well,
that's
first sip
pilsner
is-
lager.
You did it to Alex. I'll do it to Tyler.
Yes.
Oh,
Also,
Tyler.
shout out Tyler.
It was my little brother's favorite beer back in the day.
Honestly,
Yeah.
if we were gonna really drink to Tyler, we'd have to just drink Malort. And I don't have any, so I can't partake.
Ooh, I do.
I still think so. If somehow miraculously Jake wins the bet, right, and by some crazy fucking devil, I don't even know, Mac Jones has a better season than Zach Wilson this year, I will have to spend an entire podcast drinking only Malort. So I'm gonna have to find a way to get a bottle of that. But
I will
can send
transport.
you one.
I will drive one to you. But yeah, this is easy for me. Budweiser's number 1 so far.
Budweiser would be second to Peeber for me.
Budweiser's number 1 for me.
Yeah, this jumps over pretty much everything. I honestly, like I said, it was one of the first that I ever tried. But then I didn't really drink it much until that Country Thunder. But after that Country Thunder, I was like, damn, I really like me some Bud Heavy. And so
Well-
from that point on, it was my go-to for a while, which is probably why I got a little fat there. But
But what a fun first night of Budweiser that was. We had a buddy cry. We had a buddy shampoo and try to take a shower in the rain, and then the rain stopped and dove into the mud to clean himself off of shampoo.
I ended up at some campsite with people I hadn't seen in like 4 years since we graduated from high school, and then
My
had to
mom
trudge.
called my friend a bitch.
I had to trudge. I had to trudge like a mile through the mud to get back to our campsite. Our tents were all flooded.
So my first
wait,
beer,
that was
also a
that
Bud
night.
Heavy.
Jesus.
I can't remember how old I was, but I was staying at a friend's house, which was right next to one of the water towers in my hometown, and some drunk dudes had decided to climb the water tower, and so there was a bunch of cops and fire trucks and ambulances and shit trying to get this guy off the water tower. We just watched it for like 2 hours, and this guy comes out of his house, and he had clearly like passed out after the bars, but had been woken up by this situation, and was like, there's a fucking ambulance parked in my goddamn backyard. What the fuck is going on? And we're all just sitting there like, there's dudes in the water tower. What do you mean? And he's like, Jesus Christ, I guess I'm just going to start drinking again. And we're like, can you hook us up? Can you get us a beer? And he's like, yeah, fuck it.
It's like,
So
yeah,
we
why
gave him,
not?
We gave him like $20 and he went and bought us a case of Bud Heavy. And we didn't get any choice in the matter, but that was it. So that was my first beer.
Bud Heavy slaps, my guy. He was.
By the time this situation was over, we actually had the beer too. It was like 5 a.m. So like the sun is starting to fucking come up, and we just went and sat in the docks on the Cedar River and had ourselves a beer.
Yeah, I'm very. I don't want to say biased towards Bud Heavy. Like, I'm trying to take bias out of this as much as possible, because if my bias was kicking in, I would put PBR over Budweiser, because PBR has kind of always been like, if you ask me what my favorite beer is, I'll say PBR. But
I think PBR was better. That's my problem.
as I'm drinking it right now, I think Bud Heavy is better than
I'll
PBR.
take another sip just to reconfirm.
I think Budweiser. Excuse me for one moment, please.
Yeah, dude, I still think PBR is better.
You're, again, if you asked me, like, if you just asked me what is your favorite beer, I would say PBR. But as I'm
actually
drinking
kind of
them
surprised
right
at how low I
now,
put Busch Light, because Busch Light to me was good, but not great.
I think I went through a Busch Light phase, but since that phase has been done, I've been back to anything else.
It's kind of a part of being an Iowan. You have to love Busch Light, so.
True. We used to get Busch Light in Illinois and then drive it to Iowa to like pay the people who would do our yard at the lake house that we had. Like, we had
So
a family
I used to
friend.
hang out in Dubuque, which is right on the border, and we would hop over the border into Illinois to get beer cheaper, and then drive back. Shout out
Yeah.
to my boy Devin. He's the one that I used to do that with because he's from there. So I'd hang out at his place and we'd hop across the border, grab some cheaper beer, and then drive back across.
Well, I hear stories like that all the time, except the other way, because my dad grew up in the Quad Cities, and for when he was younger, the drinking age wasn't 21 across the country yet, so it was 18. It was 18 in Iowa, so they would go into Iowa to get drunk, and then like call their friends to bring them back home, because they could drink in Iowa, but they
Yeah.
couldn't drink in Illinois. So
Yeah, this is one of the funny things Uncle Kyle threw in the chat too. Is you could buy beer in Illinois with no deposit, bring it back to Iowa, and get the deposit back.
wait, what?
So
I have
there's a
no
5
clue
cent
what you're
deposit on
referring to.
Cans in Iowa. So if you buy anything, sodas, beers, anything that comes in an aluminum can, you pay a 5 cent deposit per can on
Is
whatever
that
it is
what
that you're buying.
like when you look at the
Yes.
top of the cans? Okay.
Yes.
I've always seen those, but I've honestly never looked
So
into
the reason
what
that
it was.
exists is because they were trying to encourage recycling. So a lot of states got on board and they wanted you to bring the can back. So they would make you pay 5 cents in advance, and then you would get all of that money back when you brought your cans back to a recycling center. And so for us, like if you hopped over to the border to Illinois, you didn't pay the 5 cents, but you'd come back and you'd get the 5 cents. So like you're actually making money by buying beer in Illinois.
I had no clue that was a thing, but it makes a lot of sense. I get it. So,
I'm quite sure that it doesn't actually like impact the environment in any way either. Like I would be curious to see if there's any sort of study on the deposit of aluminum cans and how it has impacted recycling.
yeah.
And I'm sure it does make more people bring cans back to recycling centers, but has it actually like done anything long term? Probably not.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. Probably right.
It's Iowa. You got to do what you can, you know? I say that as a huge Iowa fan in general, but I'm just now able to read what the sign in Dane's background says, and I am laughing my ass off. He hasn't put his headset back on, so he doesn't know what I'm talking about yet, but Dane, that sign, 12 out of 10. That is very great humor.
What, the fact that my mom's forgotten my birthday 4 times? And I'm assuming you told the story about tonight or no?
No, not yet, but
Not
leading into it. So the sign behind Dane, his webcam quality isn't the greatest, but it says, "Mom, my birthday is tomorrow." So we had been kind of cryptic that Dane was going to come on the episode this week, but I posted on Facebook. If you don't follow us on Facebook, at 2 Average Husbands on Facebook, go ahead and like our page. Stay up to date with all of our content that we put out. But I posted on there that we were going to have a surprise guest, and that guest was good enough, Dane's last name, to host the episodes sometime, a throwback to when Dane co-hosted with me. And Dane's mom figured that out, that I was talking about him. But she texted him and said, "What are you celebrating tonight?" Because I alluded to a celebration in the post. Dane's birthday is tomorrow, and so she had forgotten that it was Dane's birthday, which apparently is not the first time that has happened.
Not the first time, and I guarantee will not be the last.
You know,
I love you, Mom. If you're watching, I love you. It's all in good
My dad will
humor.
probably forget it's my birthday. My dad has a tendency to forget. My mom's pretty good.
If it makes you feel any better, when I was at Kyle and Carly's during my birthday, they threw me like a little birthday thing, and it was like that was the best like birthday that I had ever woken up to. Like like
Shout
nobody.
out to the wife again.
Yes.
She's a great gift giver and party celebrator.
Shout out Carly massively, because she hinted at things that I didn't even pick up at the time, and I like to think of myself as pretty perceptive, but she was asking me like what my birthday cake would be like, and ordered cake from my favorite place, which I didn't even realize was a national chain as opposed to just like a regional thing for us.
Nothing
so
Bundt Cakes.
yes,
So
shout out Nothing Bundt Cakes, absolutely amazing.
Not
but
sponsored, just a fan.
yeah, no free shout outs. We'll take that 10K check any day of the week. But we'll move on to the next beer. I believe it is my turn.
Well,
just went.
1 second,
Oh, well.
and shout out for my 23rd birthday as well. Spent it down in Arizona.
That's right.
Hell
This
of
is
a time.
This is birthday party central down here.
Facts. We're
We
just
love
gonna
to
start
have people down for the birthdays.
doing trips out there.
Yeah,
just
it's
every
a good time.
birthday.
We had the tube trip for my birthday, and that was
Oh man, Salt River floating. If anybody ever goes to Arizona, great time.
Yes, except when you lose your
Unfortunately-
favorite cutoff at the river.
And well, Dane lost more than just.
I lost a lot. I lost my dignity, including I lost both pairs of my shoes, or both of my shoes, one sock, my shirt,
Your hat.
broke my sunglasses, lost my hat,
Yep.
and I ended up having to wear pink flip flops from the Lost and Found.
It was the lost and found. They were sitting next to a trash can, and Dane's just like, "These are mine now."
There's Carly in the background. And then I passed out in the back seat while Kyle passed out in the front seat.
Hey, I passed out. The worst part is the shirt that I lost was the shirt that I was wearing. So I went to like go into a gas station when we stopped because I had to piss so bad, and I was literally gonna take Jess's like tank top and put it on. And Carly forced Kyle to give me his shirt, so I had to put
Yes,
Kyle's
that
shirt
did
on
happen,
to
yeah.
go into the gas station to pee, to do
Dude.
nothing else.
Well, that's what we told Dane too. I was like, "Hey man, I have plenty of extra shoes. You can, and like, some of them I don't even wear. You can just wear them home, and like no big deal." And he's like, "No, let's go to the mall." And he literally rebought the same of everything that he had before at the mall, so he could go back home with all the same shit.
I'm a very simple guy. I know what I like. What can I tell you? That
He was
was
very disappointed
a
when they didn't have the identical hat that he lost.
that was a very, very fun time.
It was a good time. For
Salt
sure.
River's great. Highly
It's good.
recommend. But
Jake
on-
unfortunately didn't get to see wild horses, but Dane did.
we did not. No, Jess was more disappointed than I was. Well,
It was pretty cool.
yeah. Anyways, Dane, go ahead and pick beer number
Six.
seven.
Well,
7.
While we are calling out Arizona, it's only right
The
call
Ultra.
to call out Kyle's.
Kyle's favorite. I have a 25 ouncer.
I'm an
Not-
Ultra man for life.
For whatever reason, Ultra Tall Boys come in 25 ounces.
This is going to be a night full of shout outs, by the way. So, shout out to my partner in crime from training in my job back in the day, Greg. Shout out to you. You're my Ultra boy. You made me an Ultra man. Shout out to you.
Ultra reminds me of golf. That's the only thing I think of because golfers just love Michelob Ultra for whatever reason.
I fucking love Ultra.
The
It is a
the
great
only
beer.
thing I see when I see Ultra is Kyle's Ultra. That's all I ever see. It's the only thing it reminds
You're
me
welcome.
of.
Oh, I'm looking
Still
at my
doesn't
ratings
taste that
over
good
here.
to me, but
Oh, it's so good. So good. Ultra's probably my number one still.
I think fucking Ultra's under Miller Lite.
I think
Oh,
Ultra's
that's
above
sad.
Miller Lite.
Hey, there we go. Hey, we're going to meet in the middle somewhere. Ultra's the king
Yeah.
of beers. Fuck you, Budweiser.
All right, Ultra is
Trying to mute my mic here, keep some of the burps off camera.
Man.
I definitely
We're a
always
shameless crowd here.
I definitely always make fun of Kyle for drinking Ultra, but it's not a bad beer. I just
Ultra's
like to make
delicious.
I like to find a reason to make fun of him.
I know,
Um,
and there's like, I don't have to be told that Ultra only has like one less calorie than all the other beers. I know. Trust me, I know. But A, I like it for the taste. But B, I also like it because it's the slim cans.
Yeah.
And I now have a slim can koozie dedicated to my Ultras. So shout out to the
my
white
go-to
again,
now, the
third
diet.
shift.
If I went and grabbed all of my can koozies, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Hold on. Give me a second. Nope, it's
Frig off, bozo. I got a
They're-
shitload of koozies too.
they're
dude.
right
You
there.
you won't lean over to your fridge, which you could stay seated for, but you'll walk over to grab all your koozies.
Nobody cares about Jake's koozies.
Well, anyway, what is your list right now? Since he's being a fucking weirdo.
My list currently is Michelob Ultra, PBR, Budweiser, Miller Lite, Banquet, Busch Light, High Life.
Okay, Jake, what's yours?
Mine is Budweiser, PBR, High Life, Ultra, Miller Lite, Busch Light, and Banquet.
Well, we definitely have some fucked up
Discrepancies.
lists. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm Budweiser, PBR, Miller Lite, Ultra, Banquet, High Life, and I did not have Busch Light.
Other than the
so-
Ultra, you and I are pretty close, Dane.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Ultra, but
An Ultra
it's
man.
one of those things I like a lot of other things over Ultra.
Yeah.
Ultra is my go-to.
But anyways, since I ran and grabbed them, I have the regular
Oh,
can
Jesus
koozie
Christ.
from
Who cares
Yeti.
about Jake's koozies?
I have the slim can koozie from Yeti, and then I have the 3-in-1 from Brewmate. If you don't have one of these, buy one of these.
Brewmate are legit. I don't have a 3-in-1, but I do have the slim can Brewmate, and it's awesome.
Or you just drink fast enough to where you don't need a koozie.
Also an option. But the 3-in-1 allows you to do 16-ounce cans, 12-ounce cans, and it also comes with a basically like the sliding lids, so you can use it as like a tumbler. I've never
Since-
done that. Probably never will do it, but it comes with it.
Since nobody cares what Jake's saying, this is a great time to introduce a reason for nobody to care what Jake's saying. And we will go to the Natty Light,
Damn,
which
of course.
Dane and I have, and Jake does not.
I do not know.
Which they
by
really
the way-
fucking jazzed these cans up, boys. They did a little too much here.
Yeah, I know. Which, as a side note, since my dumbass only had 9 beers, I went and grabbed one extra so
Modelo?
that I'd at least have 10.
I have 10. Do you guys not have Bush Heavy?
No, that wasn't on the list.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, if it was, I missed that one.
Oh, well, I'll drink
So do
Bush
you have
Heavy.
9 or 10?
I have 10.
I have 10. I just didn't have that one. 7.
So we're just all
remaining.
messed up.
I have Keystone, Bud Light, and Coors Light.
All right, I'll drink Bush Heavy then because I don't have Keystone or Natty Light. I couldn't find them in stock anywhere. My Uncle Kyle points out that if you need a Yeti koozie, you're not drinking right. I can't chug every beer
Damn.
or I will
straight.
die.
I like that.
Shut up, Dane. I've seen you asleep behind a pool or under a fucking pool table and ping pong table enough times to know that maybe you do need to slow
Because
down
I
sometimes.
drink fast enough to not need a koozie.
But
I don't.
ca-
I love koozies.
I can already tell you I've had enough Natty Light in my day that would be. I would typically put that behind Miller Lite, but based on me drinking Miller Lite tonight behind everything, I'd probably put that right behind Ultra ahead
You know,
of
the
Miller
interesting thing is I just took a sip of this Natty Light, and I thought it was still my Ultra almost. Maybe I'm just getting a little intoxicated, but I think
I don't
that's
know.
actually
Natty
pretty
Light
good.
just tastes. Yeah, I was gonna say Natty Light actually tastes pretty good.
I gotta sip Budweiser and see where I need to put this on the scale now.
I'm not convinced Bush Heavy tastes any different than Bush Light.
I think I might put Natty Light above. No.
Do
Can I
it.
really do
Yes,
that?
do it. Do it. I don't know what it is, but do it.
Above Budweiser. I think Natty Light is above Budweiser.
That is shocking to me.
This is good. This is impressive,
I'm
right?
actually gonna have to agree with Kyle on that one. I'm putting it above Budweiser. Wait a
This
minute. That
tastes
makes
really good right now. This hits different.
Natty Light my number 1. I don't know if I don't know if I like that.
I like that for you.
I need some water. Give me a second.
Yeah, maybe we should have like the coffee beans to like get the
Yeah.
sinuses refreshed and like a little bit of water to swish around or something. I don't know, but this is good. Like I said, I think maybe I should have We should have started with like all the traditionally like good beers and gone worse and see
Yeah.
if they stay worse. Because right now I think Natty Light is hitting pretty good.
We got to go through at the end and do one
Well,
sip
see-
of everything to make sure our ranking is correct before we finalize it. But
See, you guys did it perfect. Bud Light and Coors Light are going to be my 1 and 2, so you guys
Yeah.
say my
Oh,
two
dude,
for last.
That's sad. I'm sad for you, Dane.
you're
Yeah,
talking
well-
about a man. We went to we spent New Year's at a place where we spent $50 to drink all that we wanted for 3 hours, and this man bought nothing but Bud Lights.
Yeah, that's true.
The rest
Hey,
of us are
I
like
got
looking
to
at the
j-
top shelf, just ordering expensive shit just to drink it. Dane's like, I'll take a Bud Light bottle, please. Thank you.
And guess what? I got just as drunk as you. It all gets me to where I'm going, so I don't give a shit.
We all got fucked up.
Hey,
to be
I
fair.
drank more than $50 worth of beer that night.
We all.
We
drank.
were
Not gonna
leaning
lie,
on we
all
were
around
leaning on
Natty Light
each
was
other
just
to
killing
stay
me.
standing.
Yeah,
So
no, you were sitting down. You were sitting on like the railing of the staircase, and I had an arm on you, like keeping myself balanced. Well, then go pee. Anyways,
he
I
needs
had
permission.
I had Bush Heavy, which I'm going to put in front of Miller Lite behind Ultra. It doesn't taste that different than Bush Light, but it's still better than Miller Lite is tasting to me right now. So Bush Heavy comes in at number 5 for me, which is about what I expected. My only experience drinking Bush Heavy, really, family friend of mine back in the day, every time I'd go over to their house, Bush Heavy was what they drank, so that's what I drank. So
By the way, if I were to make this list before this night happened, this is not anywhere close to what my list would have been. Natty Light would not be sitting at number 1.
oh
I
yeah,
would've
no,
put-
this
I
is
would have put Natty Light probably below High Life, and maybe it is because this is beer number 7, but
like I said, I'll wait and then I'll pull up the list that we did when we did the episode previously. But this was not our list.
Yeah, what-
Kyle,
yeah, what was it? Do you
I
have it?
I do have it. I'm gonna wait until we do our final 10 rankings, and then I will
Okay.
discuss how we rank these together.
I guess I don't need them.
But I will tell you, there's a few shockers in this list comparatively. I should have just bought a Natter Day and replaced it with a Natty Light. But the issue with doing that is I know the Natter Day would have been my one.
What is
there's-
a Natter Day? Is it the heavier version of a Natty Light?
No, it's Natty Light mixed with strawberry lemonade.
That sounds
Gross.
It's delicious.
disgusting.
It's delicious. I was
All right,
telling
I'm
Dane.
back.
I was telling
I
Dane
give
before
last
the.
beer. Dane, give the next beer. I'm interrupting you. Jake, just kidding. Jake, it's on you. I think.
It is. We're gonna do. We're just gonna go with the closest one to me, which is Bud Light.
Number
But
1.
what I was saying, Kyle, is I was telling Dane before the podcast that we should do an episode where we do the offshoots of a lot of standard beers. So we should do like the Bush Light Apple, the
didn't
two
say
different
anything about
Natter.
that.
Yes, I did. You fucking
Dude, the
idiot.
fact that Bush Light Apple exists is a disgrace.
Apparently, it's very popular,
That's disgusting.
but
According to who? I've never heard of it.
it's like the only. So we play softball every Thursday, and then we go to a bar in Sycamore, and it's like what half the people are drinking.
It's also Sycamore.
If
Fair.
you're from a place called Sycamore, maybe
If
that's
your
to be
hometown
expected.
is named after a tree, then yeah. Oh, Oompa Loompa.
Bud Light's fucking water, dude. Let's get real. Quit
It's
lying to
like
yourself. This is
banging in a
fine.
canoe.
It's fucking close to water.
And that's why I like it. It goes down easy. You could chug it fast.
Yeah, it still goes ahead of Bush Heavy for me, but it's behind Ultra.
To me, Bud Light is one step above High Life, which is my last place beer right now. So
Well,
Yeah, I don't.
it's fucking water.
Bud Light used to be very up there for me. Dane kind of got me on that kick because that was all he would drink for years. It felt like.
when I'm in Illinois, I drink Bud Light. When I'm in Reno, I drink Coors Light. Depends on where
We
I'm
still
at.
have two more.
One more.
I have two more. What do you mean? I have Keystone and Coors Light still.
He didn't have Bush Light. Oh wait, I don't know.
I think I'm the only one that had all of them, so I guess I have an extra.
No, I had all 10.
How have you had Keystone then?
I didn't have
Jake
Keystone.
Jake cooked
Keystone
Jake
was
took
taken.
Keystone off
Keystone
the-
was taken off the list, but nobody paid attention to that. Besides Jake.
Keith Stone. 15 stones is what I had to buy.
Hey man, you're welcome. Keystone's a great shitty beer.
Lewis, shout out to him. He says hi. He's hanging out.
Lewis is one of Kyle's cats, for those who are not familiar.
It's true. All right, Dan, you're up. Next beer.
Oh. Well, last one I have is the Reno famous Coors Light. The only reason I started
Light.
drinking this was because a lot of bars in Reno do not sell Bud Light.
My mountains are blue.
Mine are as well.
My sunglasses are blue.
I think there's sunglasses on mine too. Somewhere.
My sunglasses are
24
also
ounce
blue.
Can. Full size sunglasses.
How many 24 ounces did you have? Wrong way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Holy shit.
Kyle's got a lot of beer to drink after the episode's over,
That's all I could
boys.
fucking find.
Are you kidding me, Jake? Like, we all have a...
Hey.
Hey, we would never. We would never.
I get it. I get it. So,
We would
anyways, Coors Light has been a recent very favorite of mine. It's the two beers that we drink at softball have been High Life and Coors Light. So I'm very interested to see where this ranks. I've never disliked Coors Light for what it's worth.
Coors Light has more flavor than Bud Light, which I can appreciate. I gotta taste Coors Heavy and see how I feel between the difference.
Coors Heavy ain't it, Chief.
Coors Light's definitely better than Coors Heavy. So, I will... Ooh, now I have to taste Miller Lite and see if that's...
I know. I have to go back and taste like 4 or 5.
Coors Light and Miller Lite are very similar to me. I think I'd go Miller over Coors, though.
All right. I know my final.
Well, I have one more beer to drink, but I know my final compared to you.
I'm not going to say where that ended up on my list, but I'm going to put it on my list.
I am the biggest upset of the night is Natty Light.
Yes, I 100% agree.
You were going to agree to that very heavily once I go over our actual list, Kyle. And you're going to be a little shocked,
I think I'm the only one that has Keystone, though, so let me just crack this bad boy and take a sip and get it over with.
All right.
I think
I'll
Dane
crack
has it.
Modelo.
Oh, no,
No,
he has Modelo.
but I got Modelo.
Shout out to
Cheers.
Keith Stone.
Good old Keith.
Oh, Modelo's fucking god-awful.
Oh, Keystone's not. Keystone's
Yeah,
pretty good.
no, I don't. I'm with Dane on that though. Like, people talk about Modelo like it's like the more fancy like import Mexican beer, but it's not.
If you are not out in the sun in a beach with a lime in it, doesn't do it.
I'll still.
That's
just like
that
Corona.
goes for most Mexican beers. Yeah, you gotta have a lime.
I don't think so. I can
I
drink
don't need
Corona
the
without
environment, but I do
lime.
need the lime.
I can drink Tecate without lime. I can drink Dos Equis without lime. But like,
But if, in my perspective, if you're not like outside at a beach, you shouldn't be drinking that beer.
I disagree with that because you and I have drank a lot of Corona at random restaurants and Country Thunder.
Yeah, that's
All right,
because
boys.
somebody always brings one case of Corona.
Somehow, perfectly, we can cap this into 1 hour if we give our final list. Who wants to start?
I will go first because I have it right here. So the final list for me, I went back and tasted a couple just to verify. But
Wait, Jake, compare it to your ranking of what you made.
okay, so of these beers, here's how Kyle and I agreed upon ranking them, which was Ultra number 1, PBR number 2, Coors Banquet number 3, Budweiser number 4, Busch Light number 5, Miller Light number 6, High Light number 7, Coors Light number 8. Y'all didn't have Busch Heavy, but it and Natty Light were essentially at the same spot in number 9. Bud Light at number 10, and then Keystone was the last in that grouping there. So for me,
I will say mine hasn't drastically changed from that, but there were some upsets.
mine is very different. So I have Budweiser number 1, PBR number 2, High Life number 3, which to me is the shocker, Coors Light number 4, Ultra number 5, Busch Heavy number 6 because I didn't have Keystone or Natty, Miller Lite number 8, that's the one to me that's the most shocking. I've always considered myself to be like a Miller Lite guy, but very recently that has apparently changed. Busch Light number 9 and Coors Banquet number 10.
All right, Dane, let's hear it.
I don't know. I'm already questioning my own list, but
All right.
But I had Coors number 1, Bud Light number 2.
Coors Light number 1 to clarify.
Yeah.
Coors Light, yes. Sorry, because Banquet's way down there. Surprisingly, Natty Light number 3, Ultra number 4, Budweiser number 5, PBR number 6, Miller Lite 7, High Life 8, Banquet 9, and Modelo 10.
All right. And to cap it off, here's my list, which is different than both of you and a little bit different than what I had originally thought. However, still holding strong at number 1, Michelob Ultra, followed by number 2 being PBR, which is consistent with what we had before. And then it falls apart from there. So number 3, Natty Light, 4, Budweiser, 5, Keystone. Shout out to my boy Keystone. Was that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 6 is Miller Lite. 7 is Coors Light. 8 is Banquet. 9 is Busch Light. 10 Bud Light. And 11 High Life. Did I have 11 beers or just drunk count?
I think you had 11.
Can I question your list real quick?
Yeah, I have 11. Yeah, what's up?
You were talking about Mr. Iowa and Busch
Dude,
Light.
I trust me.
And then-
I'm as
and
shocked
then, yeah.
as you are. Natty Light is the shocker, and it's the
I
inverse of
agree.
that is the fact of how low Busch Light fell. Because maybe I should take another sip.
I'm surprised because I probably would have put Busch Light up there.
Natty Light is so much better.
And it's never been like that.
Never.
I'm so mad I don't have it. I should have just bought a 30 rack and dealt with it because I'm now very curious about how it would actually rank for me.
I was
I'm
very
so
upset I had to buy a
unimpressed.
15 rack, and
I'm so
Makes me
sorry to
kinda
the
happy
Iowa boys, but Busch Light's not doing it. Natty Light did it.
yeah,
Brought
I'll
the
agree.
fucking bag. Here we go.
I'll agree to that.
All right, so let's do this real quick while we have a few more minutes to kill. So, Dane, read off your list to me one more time.
I just exited
do
out
it
of my list.
Do you want mine?
Yes,
God
give
damn
me
it.
yours, Kyle.
Ultra, PBR, Natty, Budweiser, Keith Stone, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Banquet, Busch, Bud Light High Life.
I think I have recreated my list.
You didn't even save it.
This is what I had to do to recreate my list.
All right, let's hear it. So you have
Uh,
Coors, Bud Light.
Coors Light, Bud Light, Natty Light, Ultra, Budweiser, PBR, Miller Lite, Banquet, and High Life. If you want to throw Modelo in there. Excuse me,
Yes,
Modelo was
did that.
last.
So let me do some math real quick here. I'm going to see how our list of 3 compared to our list
Just give him the
previously.
ADP.
That's basically, I have to calculate that though, so talk amongst yourselves while I do some math here real quick.
Jake's not very good at math.
Dane, what are your birthday plans for the weekend?
Tomorrow morning I'm going for a run.
No, that ain't happening. All right, next.
Well, I'm training for a race, so I have to.
so
but,
tomorrow at
go-
11 a.m. at the earliest, Dane's going to go for a run.
Yes. But the plan is to go for mimosas and breakfast with Bailey, and then go for a
12
hike with
a.m.
all. Yep. Go for a hike with all of our dogs to, unfortunately, our favorite hiking spot that has burnt down in the last month to check it out for the first time and see the damage done. But then we're going to Ichiban Restaurant, which is a Japanese hibachi
Steakhouse,
cook in
probably,
front of you.
yeah.
And honestly, past that, just nice and simple. Then we're going to my girlfriend Bailey's house, her mom's house on Sunday night for my birthday dinner with them, and looking forward to that. But nothing too extravagant. Just took the day off of work today and relaxed, and just nice, easy weekend.
Nice.
Today's probably the most dedicated thing I have between
Goddamn
this and the drinking game coming after. Your math is taking a long time.
Yeah, it's not
We
as...
would never drink after this.
Yeah,
course not.
who could imagine that we were
Of
going
course
to
not, 'cause
continue
what am I going to
consuming
do with
alcohol
10
after this?
98% full beers? What am I going to do
That's
with them?
a very important question here.
Just dump them down the drain, go to bed.
Donate
Call
them to
the
the
night.
homeless.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of homeless in my neighborhood.
There are quite a few down here, so you can go ahead and bring them on down.
That is true. I can confirm, as a one-time visitor of Tucson, that there
Long-time
are.
listener, first-time caller.
Excuse me while you're...
Did I delete the beer off my list? I forgot one. I did. Bud Light was number 6 for those who missed that from me, because I missed that from myself. But yeah, it takes a lot longer to do the averages when you're not keeping track the entire time here. So
That
I
makes sense.
Bud, PBR, High Life, Coors Light, Ultra, Miller Lite, Banquet, Bud Light. What am I missing?
I have them all in front of me if you want to read those again.
Bud, Heavy, PBR, High Life, Coors Light,
Mm-hmm.
Ultra, Miller Lite, Banquet, Bud Light. Mission,
Natty Light, Bush Light,
I'm missing Bush Light,
and Natty Light.
and I'll do Natty because you both had it, and then I'll replace the score with mine. So Bush Light, so we have 9. Thank you all for tuning in, by the way, while Jake sits here and does a little math to find out some averages.
While we're waiting for Jake to wrap this up,
What did Dane didn't
This
have
is-
Bush Light, right?
yes, he did.
I did not.
No, he didn't.
I didn't have Bush or Bush Light.
All right.
While we're waiting for Jake to wrap this up, though, I want to close this episode out for the most part by saying thank you to Dane for joining us as a special guest for his birthday. We're super excited to celebrate with him. Happy birthday to Dane. We're geographically separated. So happy we could make this happen, though, and celebrate with him. Also, you can follow our personal accounts. For Jake, it's at JakePerry34. And for me, it's Kyle and her son. Those are Twitter accounts. You can also find us on Instagram and on Facebook. Excuse me. But for the podcast itself, you can find us at number 2 AVG Husbands on Instagram and Twitter. And then you can find us on Facebook as well. And feel free to follow us on Spotify, iTunes, podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, notification button, hit all the buttons, and join us every week to keep having beers and drinks with us as we typically review at least 2 beers apiece every week, and then we have 2 topics apiece, so 4 beers, 4 topics at 2 Average Husbands is the new logo on the t-shirt. And we might eventually commercialize that logo, who fucking knows. But in the meantime, we have them and we're excited about it. And so we're happy to continue to bring you guys content every week. And
All right.
go ahead, Jake.
We will wrap it up here real quick. The consensus winner, very surprisingly,
Big Ultra.
PBR.
That doesn't spread.
PBR and Ultra were tied with a 3.33. I just couldn't let Kyle have that. Followed very closely by Bud Heavy.
Yep.
Then, in order from that, so let me take these off of the list because I'm actually doing it in order. After that goes Bud Light, which averaged out at a 5.6. Natty Light, which averaged out at Natty Light was ahead of Bud Heavy. Natty Light averaged out as a 4.
Thank
Bud
God.
Heavy, and then after that goes Miller Light, High Life, Banquet, and in dead last in consensus ranking was Bush Light, which
Man.
I think is the most surprising part of this whole
It's
thing.
an upset for sure.
It is definitely an upset. But as Kyle alluded to, thank you all so much for tuning in. We do appreciate all of the support that you guys give. Make sure, like Kyle said, you follow us on all social medias. Subscribe to us on the different platforms. Follow us on all platforms as well, so you get notified immediately when we post these websites. Turn notifications on our YouTube channel so you see when we go live, and we will see you all next week. And Dane, as always, and
Happy
we
birthday!
thank you for coming on, and
Thank
happy
you for having
fucking
me.
birthday, my guy.
Damn straight. Thank you
Peace.
for having me. It's always a great time.
All
See you
right,
guys
let's
next
go
week.
play video games.
Damn straight.